This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast, where each and every week we take a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the awesome of all things wrestling video games. My name is George Feis.
And I'm the man they call Johnny Clash, and today we are breaking down the video game history of Sting. I'm not that good at that. We break down all of the Icon's appearances, spanning from WCW Wrestling on the NES to AEW Fight Forever.
And as always, guys, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review and a rating for this podcast on both Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And make sure to follow along on all forms of social media at Game Marks Pod. And don't forget, you can get early and ad-free episodes of this podcast. Join our Discord and submit your soft lock questions through our Patreon at patreon.com/GameMarksPod. You get all of that for just $5. Johnny Clash.
$5.
This is it. This is your week, man. This is, as soon as we started doing these video game history episodes, I knew that today would come, and I knew that today would be a day that you would be very excited for. I've been looking forward to it since we started. Are you ready for today?
You know, we've done what? Bret Hart, the Road Warriors,
Undertaker,
Mick Foley, the Undertaker. I wasn't too keen on doing Sting because it was just kind of some WWE games. It was the WCW games. But then AEW happened, and we know he's in Fight Forever and Elite GM and whatever else is going to come out. So I thought, you know what? This man's career has spanned so many years, and he has literally been in like everything under the sun. Now's the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this might actually be longer than either one of us planned. There's a lot. There's a
lot. There's definitely a lot.
It's 25 pages of notes I'm looking at here.
Oh, get ready. Oh, and like we always say for these video game history of episodes, audio is perfect. But to get an even better experience, head on over to YouTube, check out the video, because we will be visualizing everything we are talking about.
We try to paint a picture.
Yeah.
While we do these, but there's literal pictures on
I think
the video version.
The Bret Hart one was the first one we didn't do, right? We didn't do pictures on the YouTube for that one.
I think you were right. I think we just had a themed frame for that.
Yeah, that's not good, but we do it now. I put in the extra overtime here on the podcast to make it just pretty. So go ahead on our YouTube, check it out. George, last week, Def Jam, Fight for New York, The Takeover.
No notes.
No notes. Still perfect game in our book for a handheld. And yeah,
I think arguably maybe one of the best handhelds that we've played.
Across the board, every Def Jam game we've played so far, we still haven't played
a
Icon.
Knockout. Everything
has gotten a play forever, and I don't see the trajectory falling off unless Icon's really bad. So
I don't know. I think you might not like Rapstar that.
We're not playing Rapstar.
Rapstar may not be up your alley. You know?
Oh boy. What have you been playing this week? Anything new? Anything fresh?
So, I'm a creature of habit. When I find my game, I stick with it for a little bit. I mentioned last episode I was back into Counter-Strike, for better, for worse. This is very much for the worst. I'm not nearly as good as I used to be, but I'm ready. I want to play it. I'm excited to play it. Not so much into the whole. I think we talked about it last week with the case openings. It's not really my jam. But the game itself, there's still something about it. I just enjoy it. It's incredibly frustrating, but it's just something that I could just spend hours doing. And then of course, I think we also mentioned I'm playing Fortnite. Regrettably playing Fortnite.
Yeah, same. I wonder what people think when I use like season 3 skins.
When you're using original John Wick.
Yeah, like guys, I go back and I still suck. So man, there was a good couple weeks where Marvel Snap was like nothing to me anymore. Like I would play here and there, but lately I am so back into it. I got up to level 97. I almost hit 100 and I started to decline. I got to like 93 and I was like, all right, I'm going to stop here because it was like the end of the season and I didn't want to, it bumps you down like 40 levels at the end. So I'm still,
that's such a,
it makes sense. I'm still hovering around like 77 now. So I didn't want to go too low, but oh my God, Galactus was in the new, whatever it's called, the store thing.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything I could to get it, and I just couldn't do it. It kept giving me like other variants of other stuff in the crate rather than Galactus, the one card that's been eluding me. I even like got the season pass and everything, and it's just not. I couldn't do it. So
he hasn't popped up in your store?
No. Damn. One day.
Damn, I feel like even when I was playing it, you were waiting for that card to get into your hand.
Oh, and I'm still doing the conquests, which are pretty cool. It's kind of like a little gauntlet.
Maybe I got to get back into it.
I think you should get back into it.
Maybe I'll pick it back up.
Pick it back up.
All right. Well, we've got a long list ahead of us. Are you ready? There's no real nostalgia goggles this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, put on your best Sting face paint, because right now it is time for us to do the deep dive of the icon Sting. All right, Sting's first wrestling appearance.
We gotta set the mood.
It's not time for Did You Know? You can't interrupt me yet.
We got to set the mood. Hang on.
All right.
It's showtime.
All right. You know,
I had to show off the Sting collection.
When you set the mood, you set the mood. So for those watching, John has now turned on all of his DTOF lights and his lights on his desk. So now he has set the mood. The stage is set. And with that, John, WCW Wrestling is Sting's first appearance. Let me hear your thoughts. It's a game that we have played, we have covered, available in the archive. What are your thoughts on this appearance of Sting?
So we said it when we played it. It was kind of weak. I mean, WCW's first game, whatever. You know what you're going to get here. Sting, let's talk about this. Pretty sure, I don't see why this wouldn't be the case. Every single WCW game in existence, Sting is in. If there's an instance where he's not, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure we're about to cover the entire history of WCW here. And Sting is a part of the entire history of WCW here.
No?
Now,
you're right.
What was that? UWC was the game, right?
UWF?
UWC. It's unreleased. Was Sting in this game? He was. Yeah. So if you count that, Sting is literally in every game. Now, WCW Wrestling, we said when we played it, it's kind of weird. Like, the top half of everyone looks good. Like, you get the cool face paint, kind of, for Sting. Like, you could tell it's him, the bleach blonde hair. Like, even Ric Flair's got the big poofy hair. But then everyone's just got black trunks and, like, a colored tights. Like, Ric Flair did not wear tights, ever. And he definitely didn't wear, like, yellow tights with black trunks. Now, Sting, like, is it that hard to make the whole bottom half one color? Like, why wouldn't you put that as, like, light blue or yellow or pink?
It's definitely not his strongest showing. And if memory serves, this was one of the many, many times that we have said that's so WCW.
It's so WCW, but I feel like this game tried so hard.
It's going to come up again.
Yeah, this game tried so hard to like compete, and it was there, but it wasn't. I don't know. The move select screen, you get that little rendered out picture, 8-bit Sting.
That
Um,
that's it looks like
He looks like what's his name from SpongeBob, the superhero from SpongeBob.
oh Barnacle Boy and Mermaid Man.
Mermaid Man, that's who it is. Like the starfish on his face,
No, you're
or like a member of
you're
Kiss.
absolutely right. Yeah,
So-
I was thinking more of Kiss, and the fact that the background has black in it, and then the black feeds into the black on his face paint. It almost like messes with the lines of his face, so he gets like this weird droopy long face effect that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just not a
It's-
wise decision to for the background color.
I'm looking. Yeah. Anyway, not the best version of Sting, but let's go now to the Game Boy, which is kind of okay. Sting's on the cover here. This is WCW The Main Event. It's a very similar cover to the first console release. Black and white Sting, I feel like you could do a little shading, so it looks kind of cool.
This looks more like Sting the musician wearing face paint,
Honestly,
and less like Sting the
hairline.
wrestler.
Like that could easily just be a rib where they were like, let's make this look like Sting, that guy, but jacked.
Yeah, this is Sting the musician's head on wrestler Sting's body.
Also, Blade Runner face paint.
Yes, and then they just just face paint, just random face paint.
Yeah. I don't
How
think
does
it's
the Vader
terrible, to be
mask look
honest.
better than the Sting face paint?
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's a Game Boy game, and it's very early on, and Sting's on the cover. Sting's also on the main title screen, which is a really good version of like pixelated image of Sting with the Steiner brothers behind him. And it is what it is for a Game Boy game. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just kind of, yeah. It's a Surfer Sting in black and white, or green and black, whatever you're playing on.
Yeah, I would say the green tinge.
Yeah. But one of the better Stings coming up here. A game we love to hate. WCW Super Brawl. Sting's on the cover with Vader and Ric Flair. Through our hate of this game, which was mostly for the gameplay, I think where we loved this game was the visual presentation of it. And I mean, Sting is no different here. I mean, from the second you load it up, you get a nice, like, I guess you call it a character select screen where it's very animated. And whoever you pick, they do kind of like Sting will do like like he'll howl while popping out of the square, as you can see on the screen. And every wrestler in here randomly like has one. And it's kind of cool.
This is very rarely do we talk about, do we use this word, but when it comes to renting video games from Blockbuster back in the day, this is a core memory for me. Like, this was my first real experience besides, this was my first real dive into the world of WCW games.
Okay.
So there's people here who I had known from other games, but didn't fully grasp the concept of that every company wasn't the same because, I was a kid. So rented this game multiple times, loved this character select screen, thought it was so cool. Just was amazed that I would go and rent this game, and then I would see Farouk and Mark Miro on television and Vader on television.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here? How come these guys are in a WCW game and I'm watching WWF?
So I'm looking, this came out in 94. Now Royal Rumble, Steel Cage Challenge, all of those come out 92, 93. I feel like they were trying very hard to compete with those games with this one.
We said it. Go ahead.
It might look better than the WWF games. It
might. It 100% does.
Everything. The ring, the way the characters are. you get a nice bio, which you also get in the WWF games. Like Sting's bio says, from Venice Beach, specialty the Scorpion Deathlock, which he actually can hit in this game. In the prime of his career, which is funny because he didn't even come close to his prime yet. Sting spends his time weight training, body surfing, boating, water skiing, and getting out in the sun. His motto, we're having fun now. Which is kind of close to Joker Sting these days.
That's true. Let me tell you something. If you took Super Bowl and you changed the camera angle, I think this is up there with one of the greater SNES games.
It's possible. I think it just took way too long to like hit a finisher and way too long to do almost anything in this game, like finish a match. Each one was
But
like,
I think the perception of the game overall is way different if you don't have this stupid camera angle.
Yeah, it made it harder. But Sting in the red and yellow gear, beautiful. I mean, it looks just like him. Even the
detail's great.
The icon up in the corner for every wrestler looked really good here.
Yeah, no notes, no changes for the design, the art style of the game. Just that stupid, the stupid diagonal running, man. It ruined the game for me.
Now, there's a bit of a time jump here.
I say big jump here.
Big jump, because we go from 94 to 97 on the PlayStation for WCW versus The World, a game my friend owned growing up, and this is all I used to play as was Sting, because I did not know who anyone else on the roster was other than Ric Flair and maybe like Eddie Guerrero. I was very young, and this was my introduction.
Sorry, who?
Eddie Guerrero. This was my introduction kind of to wrestling games, was this very game. I didn't play it much because my friend didn't like it. So when I came over and asked to play it, it was usually a no. So I played it more later in life, but you're getting the very early Crow Sting, who looks a lot like the original San Francisco toy makers down there on my D12. And you're also getting in a little Surfer Sting in the red, white, and blue. So you're getting both versions here. And you're going to see that trend moving forward where there's going to be both in every game, because if you think about it, all of this happened within only a couple of years.
That's a crazy thought.
Right, like back
to think
then,
about how short this timeline is.
So I remember in this game, you either pressed X on the wrestler, which you would get your normal character, or you would press Start, which would give you the alt costume. So pressing Start would give you the Surfer Sting. And I did it more times than none, even though Sting looks really cool on the cover here of this game, and that's the Sting I knew then. I didn't really know Surfer Sting other than having the Galoob figure back then.
So I wanted to ask you this, just because I don't think we've ever talked about it, but I think you just kind of answered the question. What's your preference? Crow, Surfer, the WCW Sting, TNA Sting, AEW Sting.
If it's crazy to say, but I think at this point TNA Sting was like his prime. But I prefer like late.
So there's a good argument to be made there.
Yeah, like 99 Sting when he just returned from the injury. He just came I remember being in Florida. I had to go to bed because I was like 11 years old. I asked my dad, like, can I stay up for Nitro? Like, please, Sting's returning. I want to see if the big thing was like, oh, is his face going to be red or black and white? No one knew if he was going to be in the Wolfpack still. And my dad was like, no. And then the big new WCW Exploding Vagina logo debuted that night, I think, or at least the first time I saw it. And I was like, why is this different? This isn't Nitro. And I thought, like, because I was in Florida, like it was a different show. And then they just kept building up, like Sting's coming. And in the morning I asked him, I'm like, what color was his face paint? Because I fell asleep, and he's like, black and white. So that 99 Sting, when he wins the world title again, when he's with DDP, he's feuding with all of the above. He's on the cover of, what's it called? TV Guided. Like, I have that TV Guide. It was so cool. That's my Sting.
That's your Sting.
That's my Sting.
It's something that I don't know if we've talked about before, so apologies if it's a repeat topic, but
whatever.
I was just like,
this episode's about.
I wonder if one, I wondered if you had a favorite, and two, which it was.
Oh, but it's very hard to argue against TNA Sting. I mean, he had some banger matches. He was in main events left and right all over the world. He was world champion even later in his TNA career before he went to WWE. It was just unbelievable stuff.
I think that's a good. I mean, there's no wrong pick, but that's a strong one for sure.
Now, I mean, if we're talking about Surfer Sting, is it my favorite version? No, but do I enjoy going back and watching that? I think he had some of his best matches as Surfer Sting. Like Crow Sting didn't really exist in WCW that very long. It was only a couple of years. He was out for a while. For a while, he didn't even wrestle. He was just up in the rafters. So
I do remember that.
Then it was like Wolfpack Sting, which was like, why are you even picking a side? Like, you're the vigilante here. Like, you shouldn't even be in the Wolfpack. I don't know. He should have been in the middle the entire time. And you're going to see some really weird versions of Wolfpack Sting coming up. I don't know. But okay. After WCW versus the World, really the same year, you're getting WCW versus NWO World Tour on the N64. It's very, very similar game. Sting comes down. Oh, it's beautiful. You get you kind of get tweener Sting here, where he's like right about to take that time off and become the Crow. Like right before, he's no more blonde hair. He's now got the brown hair, but he's got the same face paint. Also, one of my oddly enough like favorite looks for Sting, but not.
Is this the one that you tried to make the gear that was kind of from around this time?
I did. I don't know if I ever made that one.
No, I don't think you ever made it, but I remember you were trying to design it. Like you had to design it, and you were just like, but it was when you were making your own stuff, and you're just like, I like the design. I don't know like physically if my printer will allow me to do this.
Yeah, I also tried making TNA Joker Sting gear. That never happened. But I just ended up looking like Adrenaline Express. So either way, I think this is cool. You got the white gear Sting with the red face paint. You got regular Crow Sting, which oddly enough doesn't have like the logo anywhere.
Okay. So this was my question. Because there's two versions of Crow Sting, or there's just the one version?
That's the fun part, George.
Okay.
It's not Sting. It's Sting. Wink
quotes,
face.
Air quotes, Sting.
Yeah. So it's if you saw my tweet, I sent out a picture of Jeff Farmer playing N64 in which he's playing Revenge, I think, in NWO paint, or he's not playing World Tour. But yeah, this is it's Sting in quotes.
Yeah. Okay.
But from there we go to Virtual Pro Wrestling 64, which pretty much the same game. And you're just getting that Crow Sting in there as well.
And now comes the dive.
There's going to be a lot of just bad here.
Well, I would say, coming up now, we're officially on the roller coaster, because there's this game, which we're about to talk about, which is WCW Nitro, where, man, the character select screen is great, and then you get into a match, and then everything's bad. But we're not breaking down the game again. We're here to talk about Sting. So, Sting's appearance in the character select screen, I think it's great.
The rant, as we all know. If we don't get flagged, maybe I'll pop it in right here, because this is one of the only good parts of this and Thunder was the rants that you could get.
You really think you're ready for the Stinger? You really think you're ready for the Scorpion Deathlock? You think you're ready for a fatal encounter?
And you get Sting and you get Stinger.
Stinger, which is that earlier Sting that we were just talking about, where he's like in between Surfer and like about to become the Crow Sting. So it's cool to have. Hulk Hogan also has Hulkster in this game, which is his red and yellow version as well. But once you're in the game, we've said it before, Nitro looks okay. It's a weird, like, zoomed out camera angle. It's kind of hard to follow what's going on because there's just so much going on. The ring's spinning around and the camera's cutting. It's just, I don't know. It's not the best game by far. And I don't think it's on anybody's list for best game, but I had it. It was fun. Sting was definitely who I picked in this game all the time.
I was saying, I'm pretty sure we have a playthrough where you pick Sting.
One of my favorite things to do was to see like what Sting looked like in the game. Like as soon as I got the new game, I would pick him just to see like.
That makes sense.
Everything was always behind. Like this came out in 98, which it's like 97 Sting on the cover and in the game. So I was already watching like later on and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to play his older Sting. Like I didn't understand like games take a long time to develop, especially in 1998. So yeah, that was what it was.
So this is the bad part with this game, the zoomed out part, or is the game the whole
the gameplay sucks.
Yeah, so I'm getting into the weeds about the game because I have nightmares about this game because I owned it on PC, which was like taking a bad game and then playing it on the PC was like
game.
Bad
We're gonna get
bad.
into that. But in between then, we now have WCW, NWO,
and
Revenge.
We're back up, baby. This feels great.
This is a favorite. It's on everybody's list. You're either this or you're No Mercy, or as some people say World Tour, but I think they're lying.
I'm on the whole AKI THQ train. I think they're all great.
I still think No Mercy is the king. But anyway, you got Crow Sting now with a front logo and the updated gear. You got Wolfpack NWO Red Sting, which is the same, just red. You got Sting in his green surfer gear, which was that was one that I picked a lot because the green gear was cool. I have the figure behind me of that also. One of my favorite looks.
Did you like pretend it was DX thing?
No, I didn't need to do that. And then of course there is like 97 Crow Sting wearing the Scorpion shirt and the trench coat, who you could be as well. So really covering all bases here, except that like tweener Sting that we get in World Tour. Told you, I remember this story. I did not have an N64 when this came out. I got my N64 with No Mercy, so I played this a little bit later in life. Like, kind of when I got sick of No Mercy, I was able to get it. And I remember asking the kids in school, like, the Sting come down from the ceiling? The Sting start with the bat? They're like, yeah, but then he gets disqualified. So, but I was getting like, this guy was telling me one thing. This guy was telling me one thing. They were all just blowing smoke. And it wasn't until I got the actual game I was able to play with Sting and loved it. How could you not love this game?
I say everything about this game is just a win for me.
But speaking of wins, George.
Ooh, okay, here we go.
Because now we're going to go back down. Up from Nitro. But we got WCW NWO Thunder, another game I begged my mom for as a kid. She called the WCW hotline for this game, and it was way too much money. So I remember going to buy it at the Wiz at Sunrise Mall, and I saved up my coins. I probably handed the guy a bag of quarters, and he hated my life. But I got this game specifically for Sting, if you couldn't tell who my favorite wrestler was. Now, he starts as the U.S. champ in this game, which I always thought was cool. And is it the U.S. champ? It looks like the U.S. title, but all the belts are the same. It's gold, silver, and bronze. So he has the bronze belt, whatever that one may be. Maybe the TV champ. I don't know. Starts as Hogan, Brett, and Sting. You could... What I thought was always cool in this game was change your allegiance. And I remember going, Mom, what does allegiance mean? And she had to tell me. And then I figured it out because you could change Sting from, I think it's Four Horsemen, WCW, Ravens Flock, NWO White, and NWO Red. Now, where they kind of lacked in this game was, it was cool that you could do that actually. But like if you pick Ravens Flock Sting, it's just an all red Sting. That's it. If you pick Four Horsemen Sting, it's also similar. Really, you're only getting the cool Sting when you pick WCW, which was, I'm sorry, Wolfpack, which was the red and black like that you know of. But picking WCW Sting was also all red. So you had to pick NWO Black and White Hollywood to get Black and White Sting. But what I hated was then he would get booed. So that annoyed me as a kid. Like, why are they booing Black and White Sting? They shouldn't be booing him.
That's true.
So that always annoyed me.
Sometimes the mechanics don't make sense, but
I will say the Scorpion Death Drop looked really good in this game. You could hit it kind of out of nowhere. You grab the head, pull back. And
I think the animations were something that we praised in our playthrough. Like, the overall clunkiness of the game was just terrible. But
it just
like,
all happened so quick. Like, you just
finishers looked really good.
You pull another Russian leg. So I was like, what?
Yeah. But like, the finishers looked good. Some of the moves, it just needed to tap the brakes a little bit.
This is the Stinger, and I'm in the mood for handing out more than just one Stinger Death Drop.
Yeah, but now Nitro for the PC and N64 comes out. This was just so damn confusing. We talk about it in our episode. I think we isolated this one and talked just about this one.
Yeah.
It's Thunder, but it's called Nitro. Why? Why not come out as Thunder? Is it because it's on PC and N64 now and they want the Nitro name out there rather than the Thunder name out there? Did they think that was like their flagship and they couldn't get away with a Thunder game on those other consoles? This confused the hell out of me also because I bought Nitro for N64 thinking I was getting Nitro because I only had Thunder on. Then I just had the same game. And what really threw me off was Goldberg is not in Nitro, but he's in Thunder, but now he's on the cover of this Nitro.
That's so WCW.
Is it so WCW or is it so THQ? I feel like this wasn't WCW's fault.
Really? You don't think WCW is like, we need this person on the cover?
Oh, maybe on the cover, yeah. But if you have Goldberg in 98, why not put him on the cover? Or 99?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Someone's at fault here.
It's just confusing. And I hope someone can explain it to me one day. If you're listening and you know, please tell me, because I have no idea. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just a guy who plays the damn games.
I say we're just people who smart playing video games.
I pick Sting.
Is that going to be the running the running theme, guys? Johnny Clash played this game.
Guess who I picked?
Pick Sting. Played his Sting.
Oh my God. WCW Mayhem, one of my favorites right here. Guess who I picked? Pick Sting. Always pick Sting. I thought from that weird little shell necklace he wore, the face paint, they finally got like his hair right in here. This is that 99 Sting I was talking about that I liked so much. Looks like
Jeff Hardy cosplaying as Sting.
Does it though?
Look at that face. Look at the face in the screenshot of the character select screen. I guess it could. And you tell me that doesn't kind of look like it's Jeff Hardy cosplaying as Sting.
I guess it could. I don't know. I thought Mayhem was such a pretty game.
Oh, no, it's great. I'm not arguing that point with you at all.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about with Nitro and Thunder? The entrances. How they're just movies.
When it was just, but it wasn't even like their entrance video. It was just a clip of them. like a highlight reel. Like, it was just like, like it's the tape that someone would send you when they went, send me your tape.
I think like some guys walked actually down the ring, but I remember Sting's like Wolfpack one was so bad. Like, he looked horrible. And I was like, I don't know why they chose that one, but whatever.
Yeah.
Mayhem, you also get Wolfpack Sting in the all red getup and the red face paint. That's an unlockable. You have to figure out your way to get that in the Wolfpack category.
So I have a question. As someone who likes Sting, appreciates Sting, not Sting super fan like you, how come in certain scenarios he is called Wolfpack Sting, and in other scenarios he is called Red and Black Sting?
Preference?
Okay. Didn't know if there was like a period that I missed where he like wasn't in the Wolfpack but still did the red and black.
No, not really.
I was like, maybe there was a period that he did this and I just like missed it.
No. I mean, the Wolfpack eventually was no more. Like, in this time, like, Hogan's considered Wolfpack in Mayhem, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
that's just when the two merged. So I guess you could call him Red and Black. It wasn't really Wolfpack anymore. It was just the NWO again.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hey, you're the expert in this one, so I just wanted to pick your brain.
It was all over the place back then. I think it was just whatever it was. There was a mod going around of Surfer Sting and Mayhem, and for a while I thought it was real and that you could actually play as him in the game, but you cannot. As far as I know, you cannot. It might be hidden in there somewhere, but I'm pretty sure from what I saw, it was fake.
Okay.
But it would have looked really cool. If you look it up, WCW Mayhem, Surfer Sting, there's only one guy that comes up. He's in the blue and orange, like the Galoob. And that's really it. It's a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Texture edits. Yeah, it says right in the title, texture edits, because it's got Hulk Hogan as the Hulkster also. Oh, it's cool. I like it. I wish it was actually in the game like some of the earlier ones. You got both, but it is what it is. But
it's a good look at texture edit.
Mayhem for the Game Boy. We played it.
Hard pass.
We hated it. Sting pretty much just looks like Vampiro. He's got no shirt on. He's got just black with black gloves, black around the eyes, and that's it. Long black hair. He looks like he's either in the Misfits or he's the actual Crow, but it does not look like Sting. So if we did the video game history of Sting and Game Boys, between the two, this one's worse.
He's got the Kylo Ren from Star Wars pants where they're like up to his chest.
Yes. He's like embarrassed of his muffin top.
They're like, it's missing. They're missing this, like the singlet sling or like
He's
string, like
Liam
the
Davis
shoulder part of the singlet.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, oh, we drew arms to give his shoulders definition. Yeah, there's that'll be the singlet lines.
Like
just
he
leave
did wear just like no shirt sometimes, especially in like TNA later on when he was like super
but
jacked.
that's not what this is.
No, this is just we didn't feel like doing that. Yeah, I don't know. Not the best. But speaking of not the best, you see a trend here?
Well, I'll say it wasn't the best. It couldn't be the worst because the worst is this one.
WCW Backstage Assault. Somehow they took Mayhem, which was such a beautiful game, and they just downgraded it. You now have this Major Bendy version of Sting with a really big upper body. His face looks like Tammy Sitch with makeup on. Not current day, previous day, before the drugs. I don't know. I don't know how you can mess this up that bad. I think some guys are passable in here, but then you look at Hulk Hogan, you look at Kevin Nash, you look at Sting, and what the hell were they thinking? You had Mayhem. You own.
I'm trying to. I always try
game.
to find something nice to say about this game.
It could be fun.
It was a cool premise.
If the matches weren't as long as they were, this game could be fun as a side game or like a mode within a game. If they just did Mayhem 2, did the same game, added some stuff, added this as a game mode within there, maybe a story mode or something, they would have knocked it out of the park. The company still would have folded a year later or not even, but would have knocked it out of the park.
This wasn't going to be something that saved it by any means, but
it could have been a really cool game. And you're getting the white and black Sting, WCW Sting, but also Wolfpack Sting. So this is where Wolfpack's not really a thing anymore. Sting's not even in the Wolfpack anymore. So this could be the case you're talking about where it's red and black Sting.
Okay.
Because they're just giving you an older version in here.
That's why I was just like, I feel like there was a point where people just referred, like, people were like, oh, it's red and black Sting. I'm like, was that an actual period in his career where he was just like, no, I'm not Sting. I'm red and like, call me red and black Sting.
No. If someone can count how many times we've said Sting in this entire episode and gives us the accurate number, I'll send you an 8x10 or something.
We'll send you a Sting, a Sting sticker.
So
GMP Sting sticker.
So this is 2000. Now we're going up a little bit. This is Legends of Wrestling Showdown. Sting was not in 1. He was not in 2. But he is in Showdown. And this comes out in 2004. So it's a little... Sting's not... So he's in TNA at this point. So you're not getting TNA Sting in this game, but you are getting the black and white classic Sting. You're getting red and black Sting. And you're getting the red, white, and blue beautiful, beautiful Surfer Sting.
Red, white, and blue Sting. That's a solid. That's a solid render of that. And I'm surprised that we don't get more red, white, and blue Sting.
Yeah, some Great American Bash right here. Yeah,
So
we get kind of like a dumbed down, just red and blue in some spots, but not this. This is cool. This is like the defining moments action figure.
So favorite version of Surfer Sting paint is...
Ooh, probably that green I was talking about, the lime green. No, you know what? There's the lime green, but then there's the white, like all white with the green logo. And then the green jacket, green and black jacket. I like that one.
That's the one that you tried to do the gear of, right?
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, that one's nice.
That, and I remember when you tried to do the one where when he's got like the little ribbed pattern on the legs, you tried to do ones that had that.
I did. Man, I tried to do this a lot, huh?
It makes sense. It's your favorite wrestler, your number one guy. It checks out that you would want to have gear to.
Only one I ever did was black, and then in orange, actually, I think it was. There was a scorpion with my skull logo together.
Okay.
That was the closest I ever got, I think. I don't know.
And that's the same logo that you used for your...
I use that for a lot of shit.
Yeah, for like your
T-shirts.
Twitch stuff and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your Twitch thing, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on
to one of the greater looks here, which is still 4 years later. There's a big gap here. TNA Impact
dare I say it's gorgeous.
One of the best looking games wrestling wise ever. And for the time, oh my God. This came out. These were the first screenshots they showed on SmackDown Hotel. They were on IGN of Sting in the red and black gear, no shirt, just kind of that red accent on the face paint. It was an up close shot. He's got that goatee now. This is the first, like, I guess, modern Sting we ever got in a game because his look kind of progresses from here. It was so cool. He had the nice like howl with the finger point on the entrance.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. But then TNA Wrestling came out on the iPhone, which was kind of deemed a good game, but no one really knew it existed. I didn't know it existed. I probably didn't even have an iPhone then. I think this was 2009. Yeah, I definitely didn't have an iPhone. Looks kind of like, it's your typical mobile game. What could you compare this to? Like, what were those old WWE like figures?
I would say it looks like the Micro Brawlers. I think that's what they're called.
Oh, micro. We know what Micro Brawlers are.
No, the something Brawlers, Rumblers.
Yeah, Rumblers.
Yeah, WWE Rumblers. That's the thing that.
Yeah, you're right.
That Broski has one. And
for sure.
There is one that are called what's the Bash and Brawlers? That's the WCW figures, right?
Bash and Brawlers are what's behind me, the wrestling
buddies.
That's talked, yeah.
That's why I said Brawlers. I was thinking of that. It does also kind of look like that too.
Yeah, but when you look at it, this is like WCW Sting in this game. This isn't TNA Sting.
Oh yeah. But it's WCW Sting, but very much TNA Booker and TNA Kevin Nash.
Yeah, this is kind of nuts. I'm looking now. Sting's TNA debut. He did kind of still look like WCW Sting, just shorter hair. Like he came out in that gear. So I guess it makes sense, but that was 2003. This is 2009. I don't know. I don't know. I'm being picky. But then we get, while we were talking about PSP games, TNA Impact crossed the line on the PSP and the DS. Pretty damn good PSP game while we're talking about them. I don't know really what this would look like, TNA Impact on the DS. I can't imagine that's good.
We have to play that, don't we?
We do. We should have played it with. We could play it with the PSP version. It does look. Yeah, it's not great looking. It's very pixely because you're on that bottom touch screen, and Hulk Hogan's an exclusive, so that's something.
Oh.
And Sting is what he is. But one of my favorite mobile games, wrestling wise, ever, TNA Impact, TNA Wrestling Impact from 2011 on the iOS and Android. We played this.
It's a different presentation.
This game came out of nowhere. I remember it just dropping, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Sitting at work playing this. It's so pretty. It's really good gameplay. Sting, again, kind of looks like WCW Sting, but that's fine. He's in the game with Hulk Hogan. Whatever. It's a little callback. The belts in this game look good. Everything was nice. I mean, it looks like he's wearing a mask rather than face paint. Like
I was gonna say, either they did his forehead and his hairline super dirty, or he's cosplaying when he wore the mask.
It looks like when you make him in No Mercy and just put the Phantom mask on someone.
Yes.
Which I think everyone tried to make Sting because you had the Muda pants.
I would say the Muda pants. They covered a world of hurt there.
Yeah, but okay, now we are.
Man. This is going to be. This has potential to be a long section.
We're not going to go through each and every one. I actually think we should only touch on this because it's so many and it's never gonna. I don't know.
It's also pretty much just pictures.
WWE Supercard. There are so many versions of Surfer Sting, of current day Sting at the time, of WCW. I don't really see any Wolfpack Sting in here. Do you realize that WWE kind of just like forgot that existed during his run?
They don't like to acknowledge certain parts of WCW, and they like
it's kind of weird.
And they like to amplify.
That's when they were they were losing to WCW at that time.
The thing to this day that I still don't understand canonically in the history of WCW is why at WrestleMania, when Triple H and Sting had the match,
great match,
DX comes out, why does the NWO come out to help Sting?
WCW versus DX.
But
well, literally everyone there could have just been in a Wolfpack shirt, and it would have made sense.
I know. It was canonically in the history, the main storyline for WCW was the NWO versus Sting.
Well, they weren't sending out Macho Man and Lex Luger, so I'll tell you that much. They weren't sending out Jim Hellwig. But yeah, everything under the sun here for Supercard. But Sting's real WWE video game debut, the moment we've waited for. We're going to start with the commercial. WWE 2K15. Do you remember this commercial? I remember this playing.
Hyped were you when this commercial aired?
Holy crap. The orchestra playing Sting's theme song, which was crazy because they changed his music. They're playing it. They all turn around. They're all wearing Sting face paint. And then the man himself turns around. And holy crap, Sting is finally in the WWE. Crazy.
He's come home.
I remember watching, what was that, Night of Champions, right? Dolph Ziggler, he made the save on against Triple H.
Yep.
My friend was over watching it. He was a wrestling fan, but he fell asleep on the couch while we were watching. I lost my mind. He was awakened instantly, thinking the house was on fire. But nope, it was just Sting coming out to save Dolph Ziggler. But this was the start of it. Sting 2K15. You get 99 Sting and 91 Sting, which you're going to see a trend here as we progress in the 2Ks for the next 6 years of Yeah, 91 Sting's not really going to change. Neither is 99 Sting. We're just going to add and remove at some points.
For some reason, and I know that it was a very prominent part of his career. I know for Surfer Sting, jackets, yes. For some reason, I don't have a lot of memory of like him with the tassels on the jackets. Like I know that it happened, but when I picture Sting in my head, like Surfer Sting in my head, it's just the jacket. It's not like I associate tassels with Macho Man.
I guess Sting. You're picturing him with his arms down.
Maybe, yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, I don't know if you were a TNA fan like I was. 91 Sting in here kind of just looks like Mr. Anderson when he dressed as a Sting to troll him. But yeah. Then we get WWE Immortals, a game we covered in the archive.
Coolest looking Sting.
Yeah, badass Sting, and like, what do you even call this?
His armor? He's like if Marvel.
Yeah, like if he was one of the X-Men.
Yeah, or if.
Oh, and they gave him the TNA red eyes.
Oh, they did.
So here's a story. My first time doing WWE extra work was SummerSlam, I guess this year, 15. And at the time, you did SmackDown and Raw also, and NXT. So that Raw was when Sting was hiding in the box that Seth Rollins was going to get the statue made of.
Yeah, I said the statue.
So me and Max Caster were traveling together, and like there was nothing for us. Like they said, like, all right, you guys could leave. I'm like, you want to watch the show? And Max is like, dude, we've been doing this since Thursday. Can we please just go home? Like, it's a long day. I'm like, all right, I guess. We get on the train, and my phone I pop open my phone. They're like, Sting's here. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, you made me miss Sting because we had to leave early. Oh, man. I didn't see him, though, so he was well hidden. Now we're...
Like, in certain scenarios, they're very good at doing that, and in other scenarios, they're very not good at that part.
They were very good that day, or I would have stayed. Now, WWE 2K Mobile also came out in 2015, where you're only getting 99 Sting and in like a very, very dumbed down version of it. I hate saying dumbed down, but it's like just
it's
not
the
a console
mobile friendly version of it.
Yeah, mobile friendly version, short hair, not very textured, and it is what it is. Really though, this was the first time I've researched 2K Mobile like a bit. Not a bad looking game. Would have been something cool to actually have mobile. I don't know how long it was supported, how long it lasted, but I would like to cover that one day because it's actually okay looking.
Can we play that?
Yeah, I can get the APK file. Don't worry.
No, but do you need like servers to play? This is my question.
Nah, it's there. I see it. They're all modded where you don't need servers anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And now, 2K16, Stone Cold on the cover. You're getting not only 99 Sting, which they did a little bit of an upgrade to the jacket. You are not only getting 91 Sting, which is exactly the same. You are also getting current day Sting, very remnant of his match at, what was that, WrestleMania 31 with Triple H?
Yes.
And
is that Terminator entrance? Or is that the motorcycle entrance?
I think it was motorcycle.
There's a Terminator one, and then there's like the Mad Max.
No, 31 was Terminator.
Okay,
right? That was yeah. Just like you said before, weird. The whole NWO part was weird, but as a WCW kid, like that was just such a cool match with the run-ins and
super cool moment. Just didn't make sense.
They couldn't put the kid over, but it was a really cool match. I remember watching it back like the next day again, like just smiling, like Sting's finally here. This is nuts. I have the DVD, everything like surrounding it. It was just
now if you
cool moment.
Quick sidetrack question. You get to book who really comes in and saves.
Well, DX
Sting.
is the given, right? DX is the given for Triple H.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fantasy book Living or Dead, or just
Yeah, fantasy book, living or dead, but it has to, like, in the scope of WCW, canonically has to make sense. I've got one in my head.
I want Macho Man, Lex Luger, and DDP.
Okay, yeah, okay. The two that I had were Macho and DDP.
Oh, you got to have Luger in there.
So the only other one that I would think of would be Goldberg. But
nah,
canonically,
nobody wants
story-wise,
Goldberg anywhere.
Yeah, but no. But I was just saying in the sense of the WCW stories. Yeah. So this is where we're kind of crossing over into like it's all mostly. It's all mostly good from here on out. There's some like dips here and there, but for the most part, it's okay.
Yeah, a lot of repeats.
Yeah, I would say, and it's a lot of like, well, we've got this great scan, this great character model. Now we'll just continue to update the attire, the jackets. You know, maybe we'll do different eras of Sting.
Well, this is where my gripe also starts. Well, first of all, we got WWE champions.
Yeah,
where you're getting,
that's what I was going to say. We'll go. Yeah. We'll jump into champions now.
You're getting that red, white, and blue Sting. You're getting Surfer Sting called the Stinger. You're getting Crow Sting, Wolfpack Sting, and Hall of Fame Sting, and the Icon. So a few different versions. Champions, we both have said time and time again, we love this game. It was a really fun mobile game. Way too much time. Probably way too much money spent on this game in general. A game I would play today. So I think we could just touch on this one quick because there's really not much to it. You're getting WWE All-Stars version of Sting in a mobile device.
Yeah, can't complain about that.
But I really want to talk about 2K17. You are
good
getting
or bad.
Both. Current day Sting is flawless. You got the red eyes like the TNA Sting, his new updated look, the beautiful red jacket. You can see it on the top shelf, front and center, in right there on the Elite figure. 88 Sting, a nice Jim Crockett promotion Sting, which nobody really asked for, but here we are. They added another one to this game. Other than 3, you're now getting the 4. 91 Sting, same. This one's not really changing. Here's my gripe. 98 Sting. You're getting Wolfpack, red and black, but the frickin' goatee.
Yeah.
He did have it for some main pay-per-views. It was part of his look, but nobody asked for goatee Sting. Nobody.
Is there a goatee Sting figure?
Hold, please. No, because I'm thinking the red and black Sting, Wolfpack Sting. No, that one wasn't.
Clash must go consult the archives. You got chalk lines on?
Johnny got back. Yeah, I got chalk lines on. I heard you. Chalk line Ninja Turtles. No goatee Sting figure to my knowledge. Nice, just Wolfpack Sting with the long hair. I hate this, and I never picked it because of this. As a kid, this was my Sting, like, growing up. And I don't remember the goatee as, like, being that prominent. The T-shirts I had with Wolfpack Sting, even though they were all, like, just Photoshop copies of regular Sting, no.
Yeah.
No. And they really doubled down on it, as you're going to see in the coming years. But then you get 99 Sting again, who's, I guess they kind of, like, shortened the hair here and made it, like, 2000-ish Sting. I don't know. WWE Tap Mania. Current day Sting in a mix of old and new talent, Ultimate Warriors in here. We could reunite the Blade Runners.
Don't know much about the game.
It's just tapping a lot, I think.
But
cool art.
Character portrayals are, it's like, again, very Rumbler-esque.
Yeah, Rumbler-esque, Elite GM-esque.
Let's say maybe even borderline retro-esque. They do kind of look like the retros.
They do, yeah. We're back on track with 2K18, another beautiful modern Sting. It's kind of the same as last year's. 88 Sting returns, 91 Sting returns, 98 Sting in that god-awful goatee return, and 99 Sting returns. Everything's cut and paste, exactly the same. WWE Mayhem. Now, is Sting one of the only wrestlers to be in 2 or 3 different versions of a Mayhem game? Unless Goldberg's in here too.
I say Hogan.
Oh, Goldberg is in here. He's literally in the screenshot I'm looking at. Hogan, yeah.
It's
Macho,
a
maybe?
short list. There's a very short list, though.
That's just funny. It's funny they even took the name, but I guess it's
They own it.
pretty generic.
So.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Very action figure-y.
Yeah.
Looking, not a game I really put time into.
I don't think either one of us did.
No.
But that's also just like the nature of. See, this is the problem.
At least he doesn't have a goatee.
There's a someone made a retexture just for you.
Oh, it's just funny though. They have a red and black Sting in Mayhem, and then they also have modern Sting. No, just Crow.
I feel like a lot of the times, I don't know. Have we not given a fair shake to the mobile games? I feel like we've covered a decent amount. I just feel like there's not a ton of meat on the bone for them. There's not, with the exception of Champions, there's nothing that's really held my attention.
I agree, though. There's not that much meat anywhere, unless I do want to play just 2K Mobile and run through that and see what like the story mode's like and all that with the campaign, or if there is any at all. But now, 2K19 is exactly the same as 2K18. You got modern, you got 91, you got 98 with the goatee, and you got 99. That's it. It's the same exact thing. 2K20. Yep.
Where to start?
I'll start by saying it doesn't look bad, but everyone had like really weird look, smoothness to them in 2K20 that we don't even need to start to get into. We did a whole episode on it.
Face paint for 91 Sting is different.
Is it?
Like, it's supposed to be the same Sting that you see in 18, but the face paint,
16.
no, but if you look at the screenshot of 91 Sting from 18, and then look at the face paint of 91 Sting in 20, it's not even like the same face paint texture. Like, it's almost like it's like smudged closer together.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you would think that they would just use the same texture.
You would think, but it's 2K20 and we don't know what they were thinking the entire process. But
that's true.
No modern day Sting and no 98 Sting here. So that's the end of goatee Sting's run. But now you're getting WWE 2K Battlegrounds, where Sting is the DLC and it is modern day Sting. What a big roster, though, for Battlegrounds.
Big roster, and there's a lot of different styles for a lot of the different wrestlers.
All right. But that is Sting's last WWE title. He is not in 2K21 because it didn't exist. Not sure if he even would have been. This is the time where pandemic's happening.
Yep.
Games are getting canceled. 2K21 was canceled, but Sting also canceled that figure, the Crow figure, at this time that everybody wanted, the 97 Sting. Yep. It's still the missing piece of my damn collection. That top row was going to have a Sting coming down from like a piece of wire or something, and that's where it was going to go. I had all these plans. I didn't even have this yet, and I was already planning it. What could have been? What could have been? But Sting did leave. He opted out of his Legends deal to join All Elite Wrestling, and with that, we got the game we talked about only 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, AEW Elite GM. You are getting AEW Sting, the new jacket with the gold accents. Same, you could see it somewhere up there on the figures. Doesn't take his jacket off during the game. You only get one version of him, unless maybe in the store. We didn't look at that. And then you get AEW Fight Forever, the current game out there. You get Sting in that same beautiful jacket. The detail on the jacket is just phenomenal. I mean, he looks almost as good as he looked in TNA Impact in this game as well. Fortunately, he doesn't wrestle in real, like, his gear. He wrestles in that street fight gear he had with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, where he's wearing the long sleeve Sting shirt, that logo that's on my hat, which is still cool. I still like these in this game. You could do the snow for the entrance.
Yep.
And hopefully they add like more gear to this as we go. He hasn't really had many differentiating looks in AEW so far. But hopefully, I mean, now Joker Sting's back.
I'll say, well, now we got Joker Sting, which is a
Let's
whole
see.
new can of worms.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But I mean, that's the video game history of Sting. Starts at WCW Wrestling and ends at Fight Forever. Hell of a run.
It's a lot, man. So that's the difference between Sting and a lot of other people, is that they're not doing. Yes, they're bringing back older like versions and variations of Sting throughout the career and putting him into figure form and video game form. But Sting as a performer is still evolving and changing and doing things because he is still actively on television and actively having matches.
Having a coffin match at All In. Nuts.
It's wild. But hey, who knows? Who knows what? I wonder what's going to happen. Maybe after Joker Sting, maybe we get like a short little run of Surfer Sting again.
I don't know about that. He doesn't look like much of a surfer these days anymore. But let's here's your little did you know. On the cover of all of these games, Sting has appeared on WCW The Main Event, WCW Super Brawl, WCW versus NWO. I'm sorry, WCW versus the World, WCW Nitro, Showdown, Legends of Wrestling, TNA Impact, and Fight Forever. That is a whole lot of games. I wish he was on a cover of like WWE, like as the main guy, but we know that wasn't going to happen, or at least I am upset. I like that he's in AEW, but I do miss the opportunity to get like that showcase mode.
Yeah. Well,
would have been cool.
You never know.
You never know, but still, who knows? What are your least and favorite versions of Sting here?
So it's very easy to be like, oh, anything from the 2K series are you know, because the details are so good and everything is so clean. I gotta be honest with you, I might be stealing your spot here. The TNA Impact game is my favorite.
You can't deny it.
And if it's not that, then I'm going Revenge just for the, you know, the nostalgia of the whole, like, you know, you do a battle royal, he enters the battle royal, he drops from the ceiling. It's awesome. The first time I saw it, I lost my mind. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Those are the two easy ones. For worst, is it WCW Wrestling? Is it?
It's Backstage Assault.
Yeah, it's definitely Backstage.
But also screw that goatee.
You know what else I kind of like? The TNA like Rumbler style, the TNA iPhone
It's not
game.
bad.
It's cool.
Yeah, I gotta go TNA Impact, but then I also gotta go like 2K 18 and 19. That modern day Sting is
the
just
2K
amazing.
ones are they're layups.
I feel like they never got like black and white Crow Sting right. It's something always with like the hair or something. It just never looked right. Like if they just put the hair that they put on like Wolfpack Sting on like black and white Sting, it would have been fine.
They needed to be different.
Yeah, well, they actually didn't. But hey, that is the video game history of Sting. He's been in everything under the sun.
That's very,
Let
very
us know
true.
your favorite versions. Let us know your least favorite versions, and we would love to discuss more. But George, I've talked a lot today. I've said the name Sting a lot today.
Yeah.
Did you know I played as him a couple times? Are you ready for the soft one?
Let's do it. All right, the Soft Lock is a weekly segment where one of our mega marks from Patreon ask us a question, topic to debate. Used to be called the question of the week. You can still call it that if you want. We gave it this fun, fancy name. This week, the question comes from our good friend, Jeremy Verrett, a.k.a. Germ. And Germ's question is, if Sting was the third man instead of Hogan, how could that have played out and how would it have affected video games? That is a very interesting question. Then black and white Sting has a totally different meaning.
Yeah, so I put in the affect video games part just to tie it into the episode here. If he was the third man, I don't think it would have had the effect that it did have with being Hulk Hogan, who's a freaking worldwide megastar. You know, Sting was only a WCW wrestler, which isn't a bad thing. He did everything. He was probably under Ric Flair, the most second favorite popular WCW wrestler of all time.
Hogan, known as the everyman good guy. Yeah, like say your prayers, take your vitamins, like the good guy.
Maybe the NWO wouldn't have beaten, WCW wouldn't have beaten WWE all those years, which could have affected. Maybe Revenge didn't happen. Maybe this game didn't happen. Maybe all those games didn't happen. Maybe we only got
maybe WCW is still a thing.
Maybe WCW is still a thing, but probably not. Probably would have went under 3 years earlier. And that's not discrediting Sting, but Hulk Hogan doing the flip was just something special.
Monumental.
Yeah.
Literally changed the scope of wrestling forever.
Yeah. I mean, Sting's change was drastic also to the Crow Sting, but I don't know. It wouldn't have had the same effect. I mean, maybe we would have gotten Sting on the cover of World Tour instead of Hogan.
Huh. You think it would have propelled Sting
down from the rafters?
No, I was gonna say to a different, he's already if we're giving stat rankings, he's already an S tier he's already in that S tier level wrestler in WCW. Do you think that puts him on another pedestal? Do you think that it elevates him by being in that role? I don't think he was at
that tier at that time. Was he the most popular wrestler there under Hogan? Yeah, he was one of them. But he wasn't the star we know today. When he came to TNA, it was oh shit, Sting's here. Then he had multiple heel runs in TNA where it was oh wow, Sting's a heel now. That's crazy. But it doesn't move the needle. Main Event Mafia was a thing. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It didn't beat Monday Night Raw. Man. I don't know. It's a whole bunch of more what ifs. Anyway.
What are your thoughts on Blade Runner Sting?
I don't know. I'm not going to go watch a Blade Runners match.
What are your thoughts on Main Event Mafia? What was it like to watch Sting not be in face paint?
Oh, I didn't care. I mean, at that point, I knew what he looked like. It was something different. I mean, he's always going to go back to it. I was cool seeing... It was weird, but cool seeing Booker T and Scott Steiner, Kurt Angle, all just... I don't know. It was just a mishmash, but it worked. It was pretty cool.
I remember, okay, this is a topic for a different thing, but just when you see wrestlers that predominantly wear a ton of face paint out of face paint for the first time, it's that mind blowing experience as a kid when you're oh my God.
The first time Kane took off his mask, I had dreams about it that night. What did I just watch? He was so ugly.
RVD sold that.
It's beautiful.
That freaking choke slam it was $1 million. Oh, man. All right. That is an interesting question, though. Thank you very much for that one. Germ, guys, let us know what you think about that. What would the scope of wrestling look like if Sting had been the third man instead of Hogan? And what the changes would have been for video games? With that, John, would you like to tell the people at home what we are playing next week?
Next week, we are playing WWF Superstars Arcade. Yeah, baby.
Oh, man. That's going to be a doozy.
You're already thinking, how am I going to get this game to play?
Yep.
We'll make it work.
Yep. We'll figure it out. The arcade games are notoriously difficult to get, but
well, you got 2 weeks to do it.
Yep, we'll figure it out. All right, guys, youtube.com/GameMarksPod for our weekly playthrough videos and everything else, all the other video content that we make. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod. Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for this show. Early and ad-free. Get access to our Discord. And you can then submit your own soft lock topics just like Jeremy did this week at GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and leave us a 5-star rating and a review on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And of course, if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. That's it. That is the video game history of the icon Sting. Only one thing left to do. Johnny Clash, whenever you're ready.
It's showtime!
Woo!
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.